Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. So we should be starting pretty soon. I'm not gonna go the full 10 minutes before we start. We're going to be talking about the eclipse, and we got some surprises coming. I think a lot of you have probably already been feeling it. So, uh, talk amongst each other. Thank you for joining. I'm going to go center myself, and I'll be back. All right, here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It is late here. I have been up since 6 o'clock in the morning. We had a heat wave today, so bear with me. I probably don't look my best. That is, again, something that I had to go through, not looking my best, still coming out. Um, so welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am at Simply Cindy. I am a psychic medium. I have lots of tools in my basket. Uh, I'm just gonna make that intro really short. So, ladies, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. Mom Otto, Kathy, it is late. And I need to email a couple of you guys because I'm gonna start scheduling. I could not do hardly anything. I watched my grandson today and I did a couple of readings, private. Um, but I couldn't even get to my desk once it started getting hot. So I apologize for not emailing you right away. Uh, that is in my on my list tomorrow. So how is everyone? Let me know how you're doing. Could you guys give me hearts and let me know if you can hear me? That would be wonderful. See if everything's okay. You can see me. See, my camera's not even right. I think it's supposed to be there. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. You can do it this way. Yeah. Let me make sure. we're even on. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. Okay. Yeah. I just got to be able to see where I'm at. So, get the screen over here. Can you guys see me? Okay, gotcha. Okay. I'm drinking some spiked eggnog I bought at Christmas. Ah, I want eggnog, but it's not time. And it was so hot. It was like, I think it was 100 today. I did not even go outside or open the doors. Like my poor grandbaby had to stay inside today. And he was not happy. But he was a trooper. He did it. Uh, but eggnog sounds good. I think we have like I think it's 3 more days of this. It's not gonna be this today was the hottest, or yesterday, it's already 12:30. Yesterday was the hottest. I think it's gonna be in the 90 for 2 more days, like 91. And that's the other reason why I had to come out so late. It's still warm in my office. Even though it's 65 degrees, 64 degrees outside, it's still warm in my office from the heat today. So, can you guys hear me well? Everything okay? Wish I could be there with you drinking eggnog. That sounds like that sounds really nice, actually. Cooking off in Minnesota, 65 tomorrow. Hummingbirds left early. Ugh, I can't wait for that weather. It's coming. We got about, I guess, those 3 days. Then it drops like to 70s, and then it goes up again for like 2 days, and then that last one it drops and it stays down and just keeps going lower throughout the winter into spring. So we're almost there. Cooling off, yeah. Yeah, Minnesota can get. Is Minnesota humid, if I remember it correctly? Does it get really humid there? For some reason, I want to say I remember it being humid. When it gets hot, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I kind of remember that. So, how is everyone? Shaylee, I'm glad that you returned. Morag, it's always nice to see you. Um, I don't know if these ladies are going to, excuse me, come in. So if they watch later, yeah, I just want to give a shout out, uh, always to those of you that buy me coffee. And I wanted to show you that I have some coffee. I'm barely putting the name up because I'm not sponsored by them. But yeah, I got some coffee. So I wanted to thank Baby Angel. I really appreciate it. This helps me keep my channel going. And I also wanted to say thank you to Dot for buying me coffee and cake. It is. This is the thing. It's so funny. I didn't even think about the fact that Oregon and Washington are like mega coffee. Like you get such good coffee anywhere in Oregon or Washington, right? Wasn't even thinking about that when I was moving here or when I was even thinking about moving here. That wasn't even on my radar. But you guys know I love coffee, and so this just further solidifies that I should be here. Coffee is my life. I came to Earth to experience some pleasures, and coffee is one of them, and I will not stop drinking it. Period. The end. Shoot, I wanted to show you guys something. Maybe I can show you. Can you guys, when I show you guys my phone, can you really see it? I don't know. I'm gonna have to show you on the next one. I think I'm gonna come on tomorrow or today later in the afternoon and do another live because I wanted to show you guys just how much our energy changes the world. Like just how much power we have. And I'm not just talking about our group. I'm talking about multiple groups that had this, that we're getting the same message, right? And doing this, like, we have our own way of doing things, but it's like the same message. And I wanted to show you guys, I'll do it tomorrow, but I'll tell you tonight. The Who, never someone in Australia last night was talking about us Americans drink big soup bowls full of it. Yeah, we do. We do. But I wanted to tell you guys that the Who came out and said, I probably shouldn't quote, I'm not going to quote them. I read something today that said that um, the mpox is no longer a concern, right? So basically, the BS that they tried did not work. I told y'all, I wanted y'all to take that stance. Like, we're not doing this again. It ain't gonna happen. Absolutely not. No way. Right? And so it looks like it's changed. It looks like it's changing. Isn't that great? So I don't know what kind of BS they were trying to pull. Um, and let me be very clear. When these things come out, I was in the medical field, you guys know, in the past. So I take them to heart. Like, I do take them to heart. And I'm like, my thinking was, I'd rather be prepared. I'm always of the opinion I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Right? So, but just the fact that I think not just our group, but a lot of people around the world just said, no, we're not doing that. And they changed, and it changed because now, isn't that nice of them to all of a sudden come out and say that, oh, there's not really that much of a concern? And this is where my Saggy moon comes in and says, yeah, that's what I thought. Yes, isn't that awesome? I just want you women to know. I know that you guys, we talked about this the other night. You guys have been through hell. You went to hell. You danced with the devil. You ran that MFer out, and you said, "This bitch is mine now," right? You took over it, and then you've come out of it, right? And so I just want you to know, even though I guess when you've been through all of that, and then you come out, you know you're stronger, right? You know you're stronger, but I don't think you realize just how powerful you are. I don't think a lot of people on this earth realize how powerful they are. I think the ones that realize how powerful they are don't have their ego in place, right? And so it's a shame, but we're changing that. So I want you to take count. We did this with the thing in Ukraine too when it first started. When we get together, we can change a lot of stuff by just having a stance, by just having the opinion, by just gathering together. This is what they are afraid of. They are afraid of groups coming together and a conscious mind coming together and changing it. That's why they have worked so hard to keep us busy and thinking we're in lack and thinking we don't matter and thinking all kinds of stuff. And um, this also goes back to us, Pluto moving back into Capricorn. We're seeing the difference. Remember I said he's going to come finish up. Pluto's finishing up in Capricorn, and we're seeing the difference. We're going to begin to see the difference of all those structures changing, right? And then there are going to be some that fall. But for like you and your natal chart, if you've done a lot of work, which you have, for the last 16 years, it's time for you to reap the benefits. It's time for Pluto to give you your gifts. It's time for Capricorn to give you your gifts, right? So, uh, let's see. I wanted to we're going to talk about the eclipse tonight. So I hope that you guys are happy about that. Before I move on to the next thing, we're going to talk about the eclipse tonight, but I did want to explain how having a planet there, having the nodes there can really change things. So I'm gonna go into a little bit of that, of how, like, I'm gonna tell you where my stuff is at on this chart. So on the 17th, if you can see, first we have this Actually, let me go before that. We have retrograde. Uranus turned retrograde on the 1st of September. Okay. And Uranus right now and on the 17th will be trining um Saturn. Sorry. I was like making sure, but yeah. So Uranus will, I'm sorry, sextiling. He'll be trining. Yep, it's right on top of my Chiron. Yeah, it's on my north node. So, I'll tell you in a minute. Just he is trining. Sorry, he's trining Pluto. I keep thinking of Saturn because I'm about to talk about Saturn too. He's trining Pluto. Okay, so we all know, and if you've been watching my Pluto series, hopefully you've seen some of the Pluto series. Let's talk about Uranus real quick and what that means and what Uranus is about a little bit. So, Uranus, we all know is the planet. Uh, Uranus likes to liberate. Uranus likes you. Uranus is there to help you find your freedom. There to help you feel free. There to help you. Um, so he's a planet of revolution, right? He's a planet of epiphanies because he's very wise. I mean, I know Jupiter is the wisdom, but he's very wise as well. And he's also about authenticity, right? And so we know that we've been moving into the authenticity. Um, he's about forward thinking and he's about moving into the unknown. And we also attribute electricity to him. So he's very electrifying. He's got a lot of energy, right? Um, and so to understand when he goes retrograde, like when he's moving forward, he's moving forward. Hey, pineapples in LA, how are you? Good morning. So moving forward, he is like um, helping us do those things, helping us feel free, giving us some wisdom, giving us some energy, having epiphanies with the wisdom, like, oh, Uranus is like he helps you. And if you think about Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, we can detach, right? Our emotions. And so Uranus kind of does that, where he can like help you get a different perspective, maybe step back a little bit and see the whole of the situation and maybe come at it from a different direction or see a different way, right? That's Uranus. Now, when he is retrograde, right? Which he went retrograde on the 1st and he'll be retrograde until January 30th, 2025. So we got 4 months that he is like what he's asking us is because remember when it's retrograde it's about the readjusting, reassessing, rethinking, pivoting, right? And so when he's retrograde, when he turns inward to us, he's asking us those questions. Do you feel free? Do you have your freedom? Right? Those are one of the questions. That's one of the questions that he asks. He's like, are you standing in your authenticity? Have you figured out what that is? Um, and he doesn't just ask those questions. He's showing you. He gives you these epiphanies. He gives you this wisdom. He gives you the energy and the drive and the desire to want to even do that, right? And so some things, the reason I'm saying this is because while he's going direct and changing stuff in our outer realm, we were asking questions or we were dreaming or we were wanting, like we have these dreams, right? And we're like, I want it. I'm working towards it, but I still don't see it, right? And of course, we have the Saturn Pisces thing going on. Now, bear with me; it's all going to come together, right? But when he goes retrograde, the great thing is that he's giving you the insight that we have been working on as he moved forward. Now that he's coming back, it's almost like he's like, "Come here and let me walk you through this. You do have this. You are capable of. You don't need to work against me. It's not fear that you need to sit in. Does all that make sense to you guys? And so as he does this, this is going to be 4 months of this. As he does this, he is also on this day. This is why this day is important. The 17th, um, so he just went retrograde, but the 17th, when we have that partial lunar eclipse, he's going to help you. Him and Saturn, him and Pluto, right? So him and Pluto, I keep saying Saturn, I'm so sorry. Him and Pluto are like, do you understand? Because Pluto is like past lives, future lives, right? The baggage, the psychological um that we have, the trauma that we have. As as Uranus is moving forward, things were changing. He was changing things for us, and we may have felt uncomfortable, or we're like, yes, I'm moving towards my dream, but I still don't feel like I'm not seeing it all the way. I don't feel like I know I'm going somewhere, but I don't know where, and I'm kind of afraid of that. And it could be because of the Pluto, the psychological trauma that you've had. This is the way my parents always did it. This is the way my family's always done it. This is the way I kind of remember doing it. This is the habits that I have. But now my life has shifted and I'm going with the flow, but I'm still like not directed, right? This is that time when he goes retrograde where he's like, okay, let me walk you through this. You do have it within you. Do you realize that you actually see the separation of you and the trauma? Do you see that you are a different person than your lineage? Do you see that you are not defined by your abandonment? You're not defined by the cruelty that was done to you. You're not defined by that. Like, that doesn't make all of you. That made you part of who you are, but you are realizing and growing into what you've always wanted to be. Does that make sense to you guys? Does all that make sense to you guys? Because that's what him and Pluto on this day, he's going to like, it's not just this day, it's these next 4 months, but really on this day, do you realize you are not that person anymore? That person will always be a part of you, but you are not there anymore. You are here and you are moving in a different direction, right? And that's also what Pluto is saying. Do you understand that you don't have to be held back by your mind? You don't have to be held back by these traumas. You don't have to, you no longer have to move in the space of, I don't really deserve that. I could have done better. Um, People always abandon me, or whatever the thing is, right? I always find the wrong group, or whatever that is, right? Whatever you've been working through. That's kind of what's going on with the Pluto and Uranus thing, right? And they're in trine. So when they're in trine, I'm feeling like you're going to get like this, almost like this awareness, right? This beautiful awareness because of the things that have happened outside over the last from January, actually, from January 2024. You'll see, wow, I'm in such a different place, and I can see where I've moved forward. I'm no longer carrying this baggage anymore, right? Like, and we have the nodes here. Okay, so the nodes are part of this conversation. Uranus and Pluto are part of the conversation. And then the actual partial eclipse is part of the conversation. And remember what I had said in the September video, the partial eclipse, the reason it's partial is because this north node and this south node are just going to be aspecting. Okay, so they're at 25 degrees and the nodes are going to be at 6 degrees, right, in the next sign. But because they're still aspecting, they're still talking together. It's almost like the moon is pushing you. It's going to give you a glimpse of where you're going. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I'm trying to say all of it at once. I'm sorry. So it's going to give you a glimpse, because right now our nodal accesses or our eclipses have been in Aries. Remember the last solar eclipse? It was in Aries, um, Aries and Libra, right? And they're still in Aries and Libra, and that's what we've been manifesting. That's what we were going through that portal and manifesting. And then it's almost like this last part of letting go as the moon is going through this north node. It will be going through this north node. It's already talking to the north node. This sun is already talking to the south node, right? And so for the next 6 months, before and after, so you guys know, you're already feeling, it's like the time is right now where you're already feeling it. You're already seeing, I'm in a different place. My life has changed a lot. Even in the last 6 months, my life has changed. Like, you can look at me. I was in California. Now I'm here. Like, my life has changed. I was far away from my babies. Now I'm close to my babies. I wasn't able to be on YouTube as much as I wanted and get to gather with you guys as much, but I am now. Like, my life has changed, right? And so you probably are seeing this, but in the next 6 months, we're going to have, because the last time, Pisces, hey, how are you feeling, Lorna? So the last time that the eclipses were in Pisces and Virgo was in March of 2016 and February 2017, right? And so because this is a partial lunar, right? It's like, look back to 2016 and 2017 and look how far you've come. Look where you're at. And there's something in there that has to do with Pluto, that has to do with Uranus, that's going to give you wisdom, right? That has to do with Pluto, that has to do with Saturn. And the reason I say it has to do with Saturn and Neptune is because that moon is right between Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. Okay? Now, Pisces and Virgo axis, that would mean when this north node comes to Pisces and this south node comes to Virgo, right? Because the nodes go backwards. All the planets go this way and the nodes go backwards, right? So you're going to look at what happened in 2016, 2017. Look and see where are you at? Where are you at now? And what have you let go of? How do you see that your life is so different? And it has a lot to do with your health too, right? And so that's where, with the reason I'm saying this is because Pisces and Virgo have to do with your health. Pisces and Virgo have to do with different parts of your health, right? So like Pisces is more the immune system. Pisces is more, so it's the immune system, it's the blood, and it's the lymph nodes, right? That's what it represents, right? And then Virgo represents like your digestive system and detoxifying and purifying, right? And so when these nodes were there last time, right? When the south node was here and the north node was here, what were you getting through, understanding about those two things, right? Your health. And so, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad you're feeling better, sister. Like for me, so to bring it down, I'm gonna give it to you guys. So my north node, I was born with a north node at 27 degrees Pisces. It's in my first house because I have an intercepted first house. So Pisces is intercepted in my first house, and Virgo is intercepted in my seventh house, right? That means that Virgo is in my seventh house, but it doesn't rule it. That means Pisces is in my first house and doesn't rule it, right? Aquarius rules my first house. And Leo rules my seventh house. I've said that to you guys before. So think of it. It's look where Neptune is on the 17th. It's retrograde at 28 degrees. My north node is right there. So my north node, which is our mission, not our passion, it can be your north node can be your passion, but it's mainly your mission, right? Your south node is the thing that you've already mastered. It's the place that you feel most comfortable in, right? And so with my north node being there and this north node that's transiting now, talking to my north node, talking to Neptune, talking to the moon, talking to Saturn, like, and you can see what I'm doing. You can see that I'm taking responsibility, that I'm like, even tonight, coming on late at night, even though that it was, I had a heat wave today. I'm working with my body. I did not go out in the sun. I am not being overheated. I'm making sure to rest. I'm eating and my diet is correct. Like all of that, right? Detoxify, but that's the north node. My south node is the detoxifying, right? Purifying, right? My digestive system, right? And I've never had an issue with my digestive system. But the purifying, the detoxifying, um, did I get all of the toxic people, because it's my seventh house, relationships, right? Partnerships. Did I detoxify my life, right? Am I moving towards my mission? Does all that make sense to you guys? How one little thing could like have a different conversation for everybody, which is why you want to go see an astrologer sometimes, right? Because you can put that picture together. I'm giving you my thing so that you guys can kind of get it, right? But you can see that this is fated. It was fated. I was forced to move here, even though it was part of my dream to move here in Oregon, but I was forced to. And I jumped and I took the leap, right? That's all those planets talking. And doing that has put me back on my path, which I never was off. It's just the way that you guys like understand it, right? I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I'm taking the responsibility like Saturn wants me to. I am working hard at something that I love that gives me energy. Does all that make sense to you guys? That's my north node being activated with this north node coming up. So what I'm having is I'm having a nodal return, right? So you have a nodal return. Everybody has a nodal return in every 18 years, right? And when it's the opposite, so when it's the opposite, if the north node is opposite, that's sorry, I said 18 months. I meant 18 years. 18 years. Every 18 years, you'll have a nodal return. And every 9 years, you have the opposition. So the opposite of it's not a return, it's the opposite, right? So every 9 years, your nodal, the opposite side will be activated. Every 18 years, you're starting a new cycle. Does that make sense? Yes. North node is in Aries and South node is in Libra, but this is where I'm talking about the conversation. Hey, how are you? This is where I'm talking about the conversation. This nodal axis, even though it's in Aries, is coming towards Pisces, and it is going to be, so my exact nodal return will be February 14, 2025. That's the exact time that the north node will be at 27 degrees, which is where I was born, with a north node at 27 degrees. But from now until February, that north node is activating my natal north node, which if you were to look at my natal chart, my north node sits right here at 27 degrees. Does that make sense to everybody? I know that's a little bit advanced, and I know it's late, but I wanted to show you how these things are fated, what you will kind of be looking for in the next it's already started. Like I'm already having all these changes and I'm already having these epiphanies. So I know you guys are, right? Does all that make sense to you guys? Your north node is in Aries. and your south node is in Libra. So you just had your nodal return. I think we talked about that before too. You're having your nodal return. It's not done yet, right? Okay, perfect. Good. So, but if you don't have nodal return, if you're not having your nodal return there, right? Let's just say you don't have your north node in Pisces, right? It's still going to be talking because this transit north node is going to be in Pisces. And for that reason, it's talking to this partial lunar eclipse, which is going to be a little bit stronger than a normal partial lunar eclipse. You can tell by the fact that it's going to be a supermoon, and which means the moon is closer, right, to Earth, which means the energy frequency is different and stronger for us, right? So, but the other thing too is that it's faded, but you're going to feel it, a lot of you, all of you, because Neptune is there, the moon is there, Saturn is there, right? And all of these, especially, um, this is the conversation that these are having with the nodes, but then Uranus is having this conversation with Pluto and the sun, which means it's connected to this partial eclipse, right? So it's connected. If it wasn't connected, it would be like, oh, that's happening in my life and this is happening in my life. But they're two different things. These are all connected. Does that make sense to you guys? See that trine? It's connected, which is what I talked about in my September video. We have that grand trine in the earth signs, which means you are getting gifts. You're getting something tangible, physical, whatever it is that you've been working through, whatever it is that you've been working with Pluto, whatever it is that you've been working with Uranus, how your life changed, what you understand, what trauma you've let go. This is the opportunity that, and it's like a glimpse. It's almost like they're saying, okay, when you get here, they're really going to be changed. They're going to realize that they've let go. They're going to realize that that they're not carrying that baggage anymore, that they're not feeling the way that they used to feel. They're seeing, because I've shown them, right? Saturn and Uranus, I've shown them how things can change. I brought people in front of them where they're having new conversations with people, new understanding, new relationships. I've brought jobs to them. I've brought moves to them. I've brought like that. That's Uranus saying all that, right? Just drop it in to say hi. Oh, just drop it in to say thank you um, for sharing. You are appreciated by us. Aw, Lori, thank you so much. I work 2 a.m. To 6 p.m. depending. Oh, well, I'm glad that you can drop in. Thanks for coming in. I know it's really late, but I just wanted to like help you understand. You guys are so aware and you're such wise souls. And all the stuff that I'm telling you, it's not about like learning something new. Y'all are just gonna know. You're just gonna remember, right? And so I just want to, the way that I work and I know this group works is it makes it better when we kind of know where we're headed, right? We have no problem letting, like, we're not the group and we're not the people, we're not the souls that want to hold on for so long. What we're the group that's like, why am I holding on for so long? Because I know not to hold on for so long. If you can tell me why and it makes sense, then I'll release it. That's kind of our group, right? My north node is in Leo, right? Okay, so your north node has already. So if you do not have a north node in Virgo or Pisces, then you're not going to have nodal return, but you still are going to have the north node go into Pisces and the south node go into Virgo. Does that make sense? And it's almost like the Neptune and the moon will activate the part of what they're about in Pisces. And that's why I was saying that has to do with your lymph. your lymph system, your blood, your immune system, right? And so we may see that. I know I'm seeing a lot of people with these issues, and that's why, because you're about to break through. You're about to break through. You have worked on this long enough. I said this the other day. Your souls are so ready, but it's not connecting, right? Because we haven't had these eclipses yet. It's not connecting and in balance and at peace with your body. It's like your body hasn't had time. Your soul has, and even your psyche has, and even your hearts have, but your body has not had time to heal and adjust. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope I'm explaining this correctly. Like it's almost like a warrior after his battle and after the war, but he still needs to, he's like fine. He's in good spirits. He won the war. He's fine. He's good, but his body's not, right? That's where we're at. It's like we have done so much work and we have so much understanding. Um, but our bodies have suffered because it's like we drug our bodies through this. Does that make sense to you guys? And I'm trying to like, this is the space over these next 6 months where we need to like um align our body with our soul. Does that make sense? Like align, like you have to come to some peace. And some of you need to take care of this. Like some of you have just, I'm the warrior. I'm gonna keep going, even though my leg is broken. I'm just gonna keep doing it, and you haven't allowed yourself, right? And like I said, I'm working with a lot of people right now that are having, they're so wise. Y'all are so wise, and you understand it's just your body hasn't had a chance, right? And before we put more bad habits into the body, this is what this is about. I've struggled with illness for 2 years. That's because I'm not aligning my body. Yes, yes, my mind and my body and my soul. That's right. When there is no, I learned this a long time ago from spirit, from my higher self. When there is no contradiction, there is no dis-ease, right? Does that make sense? When there is no contradiction, there is no dis-ease. So even though we call it disease, even though we call it an illness, even though we call it whatever we call it in the medical field, right? Whatever they call it in the medical field, and then we just kind of take it on, right? Um, Whatever you want to call it, I call it a misalignment. You're not aligned. That's all. You're not broken. It's not like you can't heal yourself. Like, if y'all don't understand by now of the letters that were written and the laws that were changed in the 1970s and the 1960s and the 1950s that changed our whole healthcare system. They have you guys believing that you cannot do without them. And that is total BS. It's total BS. And I know for a fact because I've done it myself, being in being in the system and being out of the system. Does that make sense? I've had something going on that is pretty serious and I have no idea what it is. It's horrible and has affected me for longer than 3 years. I'm telling you, like that's a big message that I'm getting is that and there I've always said Western medicine has its place for emergencies, if your leg's cut off, if you got a gunshot wound, if you have blah 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 blah, it's there to help put a band-aid on. So it's good. It Western medicine is good. It's got its place, right? Western medicine is not here to cure you. Never once have they said they're going to cure you. I've never heard anybody say we can cure you. That's not what their protocol is. That is not what they're meant to do. They're meant to put a band-aid on it. And then with Big Pharma coming in, put you on the medications that are just going to keep you going. Does that make sense? Right. there's been so many things that I've seen. Like, I get it, Aries. I get it. So I'm bringing this all up because Pisces and Virgo are going to be activated, not because the nodes are there right now, but because the nodes are talking to them. And the moon and the sun and Mercury and Neptune and Saturn, and then there's Pluto, and then there's Uranus, and then there's the sun again, which connects them, right? And then we have Jupiter with Venus. Like, it's all connected. And I want you to understand that this is not the type of letting go or eclipse, partial eclipse that's like, this is the all the hard work. And it's also a glimpse because the nodes are going into Pisces and going into Virgo. So it's a glimpse of where we're going, right? Does that make sense? Do you understand that? It's an eclipse to help us move into this north node, which is our mission, right? And for some, the mission is the passion, right? Like for me, my mission is my passion. Does that make sense? But your mission doesn't always have to be your passion. So don't get that confused. Sometimes people will have the mission and be like, yeah, but I'd like to do this better, but you keep getting thrown that way. It's because these eclipses are fated. They're going to make you get on that path that you wanted to experience while you were here this time. Does that make sense to everybody? So you can kind of get a glimpse of what's going on because of if you look back in 2016, 2017, what's changed? What have you grown from? What understanding do you have now? Even your body. So for some of you, the body issues could have started then, right? Um, and like for me, I'm finally in my south node letting go of certain things, right? The habits, because I've talked, you guys have seen me. I'm just sitting here thinking about it. I told you I have to balance being uh, over organized, working way too much, not paying attention to my body, right? And y'all know I have to pay attention to my body. That now that I've done this for so many years, pay attention to my body and gave myself that time to heal and used all these other herbs and different alternative modalities and treatments, right? I'm no longer in that space where my body is suffering, and I detoxified and purified my seventh house, my relationships, my partnerships, right? Not only in my personal relationships did I get rid of people, but in my partnerships in business, like my partnerships with YouTube, right? With the collaborations, with the managers, with all of that, like all of that I worked very hard to detoxify, to purify, to work on my blood, if so to speak, like the seventh house has the blood, the purifying, right? To work on digesting the people that I want in my life, the people that I'm attracting, and that had to do with Pluto transiting my 11th house. Does all that make sense? Yeah, Shelly, mm, I gotta be careful what I say. I gotta be careful what I say. Because it's late and I'm like, ooh, I'm not in the medical field anymore. um, but I just want you guys to kind of get that, understand that this is like even though it's a partial eclipse, I feel like it's a partial lunar eclipse, which means letting go. I'd feel like it's like you're finally letting go of the phase. For some of you, it was mourning, losing people. I mean, I've lost people, right? And a lot of you have lost people. Like I've been doing a lot of mediumship lately. Um, and you've lost people. And I think you're getting to the place where you like I'll be very personal with you. When I lost my husband, I'm like, I don't see a world without him. I don't understand, right? Like I don't see I don't see where I can go without him, right? But I now we're in that place where I'm like, I have gone without him, and we are okay. Do we miss him? Yeah, of course we miss him. We'll always miss him. Is he close to me? Of course. Um, but I can actually see, and it no longer that, like I told you guys the other night, that pain is never going to go away, but it's like Chiron. I've learned to work with it. Does that make sense? Yeah, yeah. The medical field did nothing. They just said they don't know. I lost respect for doctors a long time ago. That's why. It's part of the reason why I left. Yeah, but um, so I hope you guys are understanding that. I hope you see where all the conversation, because the only reason I'm being personal is so that you can see the conversation going on here, right? My Pluto was activated. It was transiting my 11th house. It's now in my 12th house. Uh, Even in Capricorn, it's in my 12th house because the way my 12th house is, it's got Capricorn and a little bit of Aquarius, right? So for me, it had transited my 11th house where I needed to, because it was part of my work, right? It was part of my work. So I needed to do things the way that my path was, the way that I wanted to do it. Not, I wanted to attract the right people, which is you guys. I am so, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm like, this is such a great group. These are such beautiful souls. These like strong warrior. I don't even know how to explain how old you guys are and how powerful you guys are. And I am so lucky that you come on in the middle of the freaking night or day or whenever, even if it's just to stop by and say, here I am. I want to be part, or I'm part of this. I love you guys. I'll see you later. I gotta go. Right. But it's like that doesn't happen. We have such, and it's not my group, it's our group together. Like we all have these talents, we all have these abilities, and we're better together. Divided, we're not. And I am so lucky that it is us, the ones who have always had to be independent and alone, to finally, it's almost like, well, we get a group too. We've been together and alone and we've done it on our own, but we get a group too. Isn't that awesome? Like I'm just so honored to be a part of this. So I thank you guys, but that was my 11th house. Like I'm attracting the right people. So I know that I did it. So I know that I did it. I really worked in that 11th house. I had a lot of losses. Y'all know that. You've seen my journey. You see that I have a lot of losses. And if for nothing else, to let you know that you will come through this too. And I think a lot of you are almost there, where you're just like, back from hell. Now what do I do? Now's the time to put the body into place. You finished the war. It's time to put the body back in alignment. Does that make sense? And I think that's what a lot of this has to do with this partial eclipse. And again, it's going to be giving us a glimpse as to what's coming because it's the North Node, right? That makes sense? Yeah. The North Node is transiting my 11th house. So the North Node, Uranus, Saturn, Pluto, those bigger planets, when they transit, do life changing. They can change your life, right? But because there's Pluto's really slow, so there's like a whole bunch of change over a long period of time that you'll do. Like 2008 to like 2024, we're not the same. That's a long transit that we just had, and we're not even finished, right? Uh, but that's a long transit. We're not the same. The same thing as we go into Aquarius when it goes back in November. Pluto, I'm talking about Pluto, it's going to be the 20 years, the 19 and some years, right? So it's not going to look like it does today. It's not going to look at all like it does today. That makes sense? So, I want you to look at the axis, the axis. It sounds like I'm saying access because I'm so tired because it's so late. Axis, AXIS. I want you to look at the axis in your natal chart of where Virgo is and where Pisces is. That's where you're going to have some epiphanies. That's where you've had some life changes. That's where you're going to have some more life changes, but they're good. And that's where you're going to get relief. That's where things are going to come through over the next 6 months. Does that make sense to everybody? The other thing I want to tell you guys is Mars on, because I'm going to go back to this. So does there anybody have any questions about that? You've got this trine here. You've got this grand trine here. You've got stuff coming. Letting go and understanding, and maybe it's a little part of, you know what? Why am I holding on to this? Or I I've been wanting to let this go, but how can I do that? Remember what I just said about this group? Just tell us, help us like see a different perspective and we'll let go, right? We just need to understand it. Well, here comes Uranus and Pluto to help with Neptune and the moon and Saturn and the sun. And who's the processor? Mercury. Mercury's right there. Mercury's right here. He's going to be like, I'm helping too. Right? Where Venus and Jupiter get to do what they love to do, bring you gifts. They love bringing you gifts. So as all of this is happening, you can see the conversation. As all of this is happening, they're like, yeah, I get to give them that. Yeah, she's been wanting that and I get to do that. Right? Um, Here's the other thing. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it again. Because I look at all these charts and then I'm like, where is it? Is it this one? No, it's this one. Is it here? Oh, it's here. No, hold on. I'm gonna find it. Give me just a second. Here it is. I think this is it. No, I'm sure it was on this day. Hold on. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. But I want to talk about this too. Hold on. I think it's here. No. Maybe it wasn't on this day. I've got to find it. I wanted to talk about this. Hold on. Okay. I'm just trying to find where it was. Because we've got so much going on, I wrote down some stuff so that I don't forget to talk about it. I'm going to move you guys back to like now's time, okay? Because I think it's now. No, I think it's now. Hold on. Bear with me. Give me just a second. It's not like y'all aren't. I'm just saying. Um, right here. Oh, where is it? Why am I not seeing it? gosh. It was over here somewhere. Mm-mm. I can't remember what day it is now. I am so sorry. Try again. Now, remember for you guys, depending on where you are in the world, um, the partial lunar eclipse is either going to be on the 17th or on the 18th. Okay. So, no, there was a quintile I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember. Um, I can't remember what day it was on. There is a quintile coming, and I gotta find it now. Uh, because do you guys know what a quintile is? I wanted to talk about it because it is your hidden talent. It is where creativity is going to come. And it has to, I know it has to do with Uranus because it's going to give you a lot of energy in there. But I can't remember. I thought it was on this day. Mm-mm. I'm sorry, I can't find it. I thought it had to do with Uranus, but I can't find it. So a quintile is like it's like where you'll have like this talent that's innate, right? It's where your inspiration, your creativity comes. And I thought it was happening on the 17th, but I could be wrong. It could be like, yeah, I have to find it. Um, because what I was getting before was as you're releasing and Uranus is helping you with the wisdom, it's like she's helping you understand that you have this hidden talent, that you've always had this creativity, that you always have this way about you. You don't realize that it's such a talent because it's innate. It's who you are, right? And so, but it's almost like you don't realize what a talent or creativity that it is that you can give to the world or that you can give to you. Hello, is it paused? Anyone else? Is it paused for anybody else? Can you guys still hear me right? Can you guys still see me? Oh, it paused? Okay. I'm not sure why. Everything looks like it's going. Hold on. Yeah, everything on my screen is going. Hmm. Okay. It's back. Good. Okay. Um, I'm gonna take us back. Well, I don't. I do. I have to. I don't really have to. So today or yesterday on the 5th, Mars went into Cancer. Okay. So not only are you going to be getting the Uranus energy, electrifying, understanding the wisdom, the how my life has changed, and how I kind of have incorporated it, and how I can see different, and how, and you're gonna have an epiphany. I'm telling you, you're probably gonna have an epiphany with Uranus. He's going to like help you see in these next 4 months how close you are or how you pivoted to your dream. Does that make sense? But yesterday it started where Mars has gone into Cancer, which is, I know a lot of people say, well, Mars doesn't like being in Cancer. Um, But I think that Mars is going to bring a lot of energy into Cancer, and I think it's going to be like focused energy because Cancer is like emotion and they're a cardinal, so they can start things, right? And so because Cancer is a cardinal, I feel like as Mars moves through Cancer, you're getting inspired because you also have Uranus and you have Jupiter, like talking, right? And so I feel like wherever Cancer falls in your house, whatever house Cancer falls in for your chart, you're going to be getting not only the inspiration or the, oh yeah, that's the way I should do it, right? You're gonna get that, but you're also gonna get the energy where you're like, oh, I want to do this, or I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've got so much energy now, like in that area. So take note of that because I don't see Mars. I see it's so funny because I think as Mars, like I've been feeling Mars's journey for some reason, but I feel like he's learning how to focus being in a water sign. Does that make sense? And then Cancer being the start of things, the cardinal, the season to start, right? I feel like you're just going to get something comes through there where it's like focused, but it's you doing it without like being in a good mood about it or being inspired to do it or doing it happily. And that gets you closer to that dream too, if that makes any sense, right? That makes sense to you guys? So I hope this is making sense to everybody. I know it's very, very late or very, very early for some people. Um, but I wanted to explain all of that. And I wanted to let you guys know like what's coming up, what's next. And I really wanted to go over this um, partial eclipse. But to say partial is like, it's going to be strong. And y'all are, it's fate. So even though it's a lunar eclipse where you let go, I feel like it's just directed you. And it may not be what brings you the gift, but you have the other planets ready to bring you the gift because you've let go. Does that make sense? So I feel like as you let go, you get the gift. As you have the epiphany, you get the gift. As you change your mindset, you get the gift. Does that make sense? And that will be happening over the next 6 months. For you guys, it's probably already started and it'll probably be mainly for 4 months, but you can still have it at 6 months. All that makes sense to everybody? So does anybody have any questions? Eagle! I didn't even see who all was here. I know Aries is here. That's my girl. Morag, that's my y'all are all my girls. Pineapples in LA. Shaylee. Shaylee's new guys. I know some of you know, but some of you don't. Eagle's here. You know who I thought was gonna be here who's not here? Rebecca. It's probably like 8 o'clock in the morning for her, I think. Um, yeah. So I'm for sure gonna get on tomorrow. Uh, it'll it may be in the evening, but early. It won't be late because I don't think it's gonna get as hot as it did today. Yeah. Can y'all still hear me? Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for coming in. I am sorry that I'm sort of like because it's 1:30 in the morning and I woke up at 6, so I've kind of been up for a long time. Yeah, I woke up at 6 this morning, so and I've been going, 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 going. And then I mean I've been going and I couldn't go outside the house, but I've been like doing my stuff because it was so hot. And then I was like, I'm not gonna even get on until it's late because I need the room to be cold. I need it to be cool because I have to have lights on, some lights on. So that's why we're up at 1:30 a.m. But does anybody have any questions? Um, did any of that make sense that I said? Pineapples in LA said thank you. You're so welcome. Um, all right. Alyssa R, thank you. 4:30 in the morning here. Oh, in Florida, yeah. And Aries, you're in Georgia, right? So it's all East Coast, right? It's morning for you guys. Morag, you're in Scotland. Yeah, did I say that right? I hope I did not mess that up. Yeah, Georgia. Okay. And Eagle is in. Where are you, Eagle? She's in. Oh my gosh. Why can't I think? Thank you. Can't think of the name. Lithuania. Yeah. So Eagles in the Lithuania. Yeah, y'all are from all over, and I really appreciate you coming together. And do you understand that we're put all over? So when we come together, how that grid forms? 11:36 a.m. now. Yeah. Oh wow. Well, you got the perfect time. That's like just enough. You're getting out of the breakfast time, kind of sailing into the noon time, the lunch time. Um, wow. All right, guys. Well, if you don't have any questions, I'm gonna get going because I'll see you guys like in what? Uh, 12, 15, 16 hours. I'll see you guys in like 16 hours, 17 hours, somewhere through there. You guys have a great day. Those of you that are like just waking up, those of you, um, yeah, that are just waking up and getting ready and going. Today's Friday for everybody, right? So I'm sure some of you guys are Saturday, but today's Friday for most, right? So you guys have a wonderful day. I want to thank you guys for participating, for coming in. And again, yeah, see you in 16 hours. I promise I'll be better too because I'm gonna go rest. Um, but again, I wanted to say thank you to Baby Angel and to Dot for buying me cake and coffee. So I love you, love you, love you. I will see you guys in 16 hours. Bye, beautiful ladies. I'll see you later.